welcome to CBSL. My name's Spike and I'm going to be going over how this league operates and functions. So, we are a basketball league dedicated to college basketball. We do have the NBSL, which is our pro league, but that is more of a spectator league. This is an app we use called BBGM, which is more text-based. And I wanted to go over some tips on how to use the export and also how this league, the different sim periods and how it operates. So if you go into Switch League here, you can go to custom. You would click this customization thing here. You would click the interleague URL. I already have our Discord export for the current season, or where we're at in the season. You'd paste it here, and then you'd click load. And then it should load it up for you. Boom, there it is. Click, go into it. So there we are. So now we're in the league. So that is a tip or general knowledge on how to get into the league to participate, because you can use the bots in Discord. We do have a bot channel, but this is if you want more in-depth knowledge, you want a visualization of your roster. So next, I would like to talk about what all the different letters mean next to players, so that people will kind of get a general idea of what it is. So let's go into Syracuse here. Let's look at their roster. So we have a player here who has the letter W next to them, and the W means that they're a walk-on. So this player is generally not a star player on the team. You can cut them without any consequence. Normally, if you cut a player who's a scholarship player, like a guy who has no letter next to them, you will lose F value, which is not good if you're trying to build your values. Here we have another player with the letter R next to them. That means they've been redshirted previously. And for those who don't know what redshirting is, it's a thing in college where you have your players set up for a year, so that way they get an extra year of progressions, kind of get better. Like if you're stacked at point guard and you have 5 guys and your fifth guy is not going to start, you can redshirt them, so that way you can keep them on your roster for an extra year and also get them a chance to boost up in overall. Our S here means that they are currently redshirted. If you see right here, we have it listed to where this player is not playing at all. So that means they are currently sitting out this year, and at the end of the year, we'll swap them over to ours, so that way, for future reference of the coach who is coaching the team will know that this player has been redshirted and can no longer be redshirted. Other things we have too. We will have sim periods, so we'll post what's going on and what sim it is, and you will have the current recruiting tab. You'll have it to where it says who's being recruited or who is eligible to be recruited for, and we will randomly roll that as mods. We will randomly roll that, so it changes based on who's being recruited per window, instead of just randomly having everyone being recruited at the same time. Also, when you're recruiting, you have scheduled visits you're allowed to offer, and if you go into your daily schedule, you will see here that, for example, Wichita is the bottom team, and that means they're the home team. So this is the game you'd want to schedule if you're Wichita. If you have a recruit coming to visit and you really want them, you would schedule this, so that way you get an extra boost if you win. So that's that. And so then we'll play until the season starts, or until the season ends. So I'm just going to finish up the season here. Okay, so this right here is not actually what we use. We, as a selection committee, will decide the ranking and seeds for each roster based on how they performed, so that way we get the best games for everybody. And the teams that played really well, they'll be the higher seeds, and other teams that we think deserve to make it, we'll put them in. So you're not really using this. So at the end of the season, we'll resign players, and then at the off season, where I'm currently at now in the game, we will have transfers. And so, for example, let's say Syracuse is allowed 15 people on a roster and they have 17. What you're also able to do is you're also able to list players as NWO, which is new walk-ons, and those guys can be poached during the transfer period. If they are poached, you will not lose any F value, so that's good for you, but then you do lose the player. But if you decide to have the player as a new walk-on and they aren't poached, you will lose F value. So that's the case in that. So when you're recruiting, kind of keep in mind of who you want, what you've got, and other things like that. So then we'll enter a phase where all the new walk-ons will be able to be poached by other teams that offer scholarships. So on your roster, you're allowed 15 players maximum. 12 of them can be scholarships, and 3 of them could be walk-ons, is what you're allowed. So if you're ever over 12 players with scholarships, you have to either cut them or move them to walk-ons. Other things is after that, then we enter the free agency, which is more transfers, and we go based off of overall and potential. And players are allowed to offer these players and not have to worry about any of your values. So it's like a free-for-all, may the best man win situation. But during the regular season, we have a Google spreadsheet where you would want to go into, using our Discord, you'd want to go into check your values. If, players are in the same region or they match up to your values, we'd recommend going for those players. And for me personally, I would say if I'm a contending team, then it would make sense for me to go after better players. But if I'm a rebuilding team, it's going to take some time. It's going to take some growing pains. So I'd recommend going after the regional guys, even if there only are, 3 4-star guys. Don't just go after the best players. Don't waste your visits. Just try to focus on rebuilding the team. It's going to take some time. But we have guys like Northwestern who started off as a brand new team and did exactly that, and now his team's really good, and he's even landed some amazing recruits during this season. So if you guys have any other questions, please let me or any of the other mods know. And thank you for participating in the season, and hope to see you guys there.